Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in again. I want to talk today about what just came out from Apple and how it impacts the world of home and business automation. So let's get going. Now, obviously, there's a million news reports out there that talk about the new iPhone XS, which is a 5.8-inch screen, and the XS Max, which is a 6.5-inch screen. That's a massive, massive device, even for someone like me who owns a plus-sized iPhone. Now, on top of that, what's really come out and what I think is so important to the world of automation is the fact that we have this new A12 Bionic processor, and if you read the details, it's basically 5 to 6 times faster in terms of computations that it can do per second than the previous A11 Bionic chip. Now that's an amazing improvement when you're talking about that short of a generational gap. What I want to say about a device like the XS Max, before I even get into all the other additions that they talked about today, the XS Max, in my opinion, is clearly targeted at Google and Amazon's attempts to create smart displays. And I think this is Apple doing the same thing with your phone, which is a device you have almost all the time around you, them giving you that opportunity. Of course, the iPad Pro 3 and the next generation of iMacs are all going to have these capabilities that we're going to see with the Apple iPhones, but ultimately, I can see this being used, and especially when we start to talk about Siri Shortcuts. Now, what's Siri Shortcuts? They've been out for a little bit in terms of descriptions of their functionality and capabilities that we think they're going to have, but iOS 12 is not yet out for the masses, and that's where you're going to get what's called Siri Shortcuts. Now, Siri Shortcuts are kind of like Google Assistant routines. They're kind of like Amazon Echo routines, but they aren't the exact same thing. And they're trying to use AI basically to know when you're going to a specific location. Siri will actually suggest a shortcut or a creation of a shortcut to you in order to help you automate your life. Now, as you think about something like that, you go into the gym and your phone knows that essentially you always bring up a certain music application or YouTube Music or YouTube TV, and you play that while you're at the gym. Siri is actually going to suggest that shortcut, and you could, of course, create a shortcut not only to say start music, but also to start monitoring your beat, your heartbeat, and logging that information. What I'll say is that's a little bit different than what we're seeing out of Google routines right now. Obviously, they're trended a little more around home automation, but if you extend Siri Shortcuts to your home, along with a HomePod, an Apple Watch, when you get home, you can trigger a lot of those HomeKit type of devices if you'd like into different states. And of course, you can manually trigger those shortcuts as well. So what you will see in iOS 12 is the shortcuts application being on your iPhone. The next item I want to talk about is the new Apple Watch 4. Now, if you haven't already heard, it has a bigger screen, it has a better speaker, you're going to see more on the device. All the things that we normally expect from Apple when they go and release a new device, better screen, etc. But what was also announced is a new level of health and wellness monitoring and some automation that I think is very important and something I've been waiting to see in the market. Now, what Apple has actually gone ahead and done is they've created some automation in terms of your physical well-being. So the device is going to monitor your heartbeat for one and tell you if you have certain irregular heartbeat or other rhythms that are troublesome. They will also log those troublesome heartbeats, and then you can give a PDF basically to your doctor when you go in and talk about that. Now, on top of that feature, features like that where they're monitoring you so well, they're also monitoring if, say, you have a heart issue or you fall down and then don't move for up to a minute. Now, what's important about that is, say, an elderly person, and we see the really bad commercials on TV that talk about someone wearing something around their neck and then pushing the button and getting help and support. What this does just by wearing the Apple Watch is that kind of support. So that's health and wellness automation built into the Apple Watch 4. On top of all of this, of course, we have the HomePod still hanging out there. We know that's an amazing speaker, and I've listened to it recently. It is an amazing speaker. But we have the HomePod, we have HomeKit, and we have all this automation that we want to have happen with HomeKit. What came out today is a few features that we've heard about and a few features that we haven't before. So one of the first ones is searching for songs by lyrics through Siri. So you can just ask Siri, hey, I want to find the song that starts with X or Y, and just state the lyrics. The other thing is, and we've heard about this before but haven't seen it, is phone calls. So I think everyone who has an iPhone, myself included, my contacts are stored there, and that's my master list, and that's the one that I use the most. So to be able to make phone calls with Siri on an automatic basis, both in the car as I'm driving with my iPhone or at home through a HomePod, is a big feature. A couple more things: multiple timers are finally showing up here with iOS 12, and then Find My iPhone, so it'll start a ping basically on your phone. So as long as you have access to your HomePod, you can find your iPhone. So again, some incredible jumps in terms of automation, and I think some future jumps. I think Apple's really setting themselves up with this latest set of devices for really advancing automation in a different way than Google and Amazon are doing. So that's why I wanted to create this video here. This is really just off the cuff, the things that I saw today. I wanted to get that out there for you guys and give you an idea of what's coming, and maybe start to have you think about this different ecosystem that's really coming together. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.